I came across a post on Reddit Sound Design a few days ago with the following question. From Sheepy Weepy, I'm looking to create my own library of Hollywood/Saving Private Ryan bullet sound fly-by sound effects. The real buzzes/whizzes and snaps, not the realistic and quiet hissing sounds. I don't have access to real firearms, so is there any way I can create this effect using processing or synthesis? I can't find anything online. My response was essentially, yes, you can create whooshes and whizzes without recording actual bullets. But to try and find out what he's referencing with Saving Private Ryan, it stands to reason that we should probably watch a scene by Saving Private Ryan. So here I grabbed the iconic D-Day scene, and let's just have a quick watch and listen. There's definitely a few realistic sounding whooshes, but there's also these over-the-top hyper-real sounds like this. These definitely have an interesting character to them that just makes those moments a little bit more interesting. To me, this doesn't sound like a bullet at all. It sounds more like an actual engine with a Doppler effect on it. So with that in mind, I decided to put my words into practice and see what I could create. I managed to find a sample that I recorded last year from my father-in-law's H2 Hummer and threw a Doppler on that, and this was the result. So this sounds fine, it's definitely usable, but I wanted to see how far we could push this. I decided that I would try and synthesize some sort of sound by using Xfer's Serum. The synth is incredibly diverse and I spent way too much time trying to recreate the perfect bullet whoosh. But essentially, you can set the attack, hold, decay, and release on the first envelope and throw it to modulate all of the pitch settings. That way you get a nice Doppler effect. I leaned mostly on this envelope and then just played around with a lot of different sounds and just made some interesting whoosh sounds. They had an interesting sound to them, but they didn't exactly sound like bullet whooshes, so I just trimmed and grabbed the bits of audio that I felt were interesting, like a nice tail, a nice lead-in, and used them alongside my Hummer. This is all kind of cool, but let's see if we can go further still. And because I'm staying with my in-laws in the northern parts of Canada because of this whole COVID-19 thing, rather than being in Toronto, it's a great excuse to start recording some source material and swing some objects around where we can. Firstly, I took the simple approach of spinning something around on the end of a piece of string. Me and my father-in-law found out that a key on the end of a piece of string works really well, and it might have something to do with how it cuts through the air. And generally speaking, the smaller the object, the more bullety this sounded. So we ended up with a lot of nice source material for these single bullet whooshes, but seeing as my father-in-law is a full-blown Northern Canadian man, he also owns a compound bow and a variety of different arrows, which is ridiculously badass, so we broke that out and managed to get some amazing recordings. This idea was all his, so I give him full credit for it. We experimented a little with microphone placement and tried to get the mic as close to the arrow as possible. Because this was a compound bow, the accuracy is amazing and we could get some really juicy low end with the proximity effect and the arrows coming within a foot of the microphone. Also, if you were thinking of doing this at some point, I would highly suggest having the shooter be as far away as possible and aim the microphone towards them to prolong the period of time that the microphone is focusing on the arrow. We started on a pretty short distance, but the further we got, the better the sound became. Once I brought all of this in and I edited the samples, I applied a little bit of EQ and I got them ready, and then threw them into Reaper and then used them to add layers to what I already had. After some balancing, trimming, and applying some panning, I ended up with some nice, interesting, whooshy flyby sounds. I do feel like I could still take these further, but I should really do it based on the content that I'm applying them to, and for this example, I feel like this was a good enough experiment. Now that all of this is said and done, I'm going to show you something else that happened that was really interesting on this day. In a weird twist of fate, there was a small forest fire nearby, which was worrying at first, until I realized that planes were flying right over our house, and how could I not pull out a microphone and record these? The fire is out, everyone is safe, and nothing got out of control. And to celebrate all of this, I put all of these sounds into a package for you guys that you can download, and the link is in the description below. You can do with these whatever you want, consider them royalty free, I don't want credits or anything, this is my gift to everyone. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you liked it, please hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment, all of that juicy stuff. I'll see you guys next time.